Good evening. Welcome to our September 20th, 2022 City Council meeting. It is 7 p.m. Meeting's now in session. Tonight's invocation will be led by Pastor Julian Lutz from West Covina Seventh-day Adventist Church, and Councilman Wu will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. All rise, please.
Let's pray. Precious Lord, thank you so much for the privileges and responsibilities that are represented here. Lord, we pray that you will grant wisdom to our leaders, wisdom to our citizens, and that your spirit will work in this council and in this city. Lord, we pray that as the routine matters are dealt with, as the public comments are heard, that ears will be open, hearts will be open, and that wisdom will prevail as well as peace. In Jesus' name, amen.
Everyone, please put your right hand to your heart and face the flag and follow my lead.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Assistant City Clerk, roll call, please.
Good evening, Mayor. Councilmember Tabatabai.
Present.
Councilman Wu.
Here.
Councilwoman Lopez Beato.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Diaz.
Here.
Mayor Castellanos.
Here. City Attorney, is there anything to be reported out of closed session?
Nothing to report, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Today we have no presentations, so we're moving right into oral communications. Assistant City Clerk, how many cards do we have?
We have 8, Mayor. First speaker is Kathy Navarro, followed by Rosa Rios, followed by Angie Gillingham. Kathy.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'm Kathy Navarro. This is our president, Laura Gomez. I'm from Project 2911, and we're here to say thank you very much. Your generosity, your kindness, and your concern for those in need will be met. Dora is our main person to carry on all of the work and the torment that goes with helping people in Covina, Glendora, Azusa, West Covina, and East San Gabriel Valley. So anyway, I brought with me some invitations to our dinner, which is October 11th. I want all of you to come if you can. Hopefully we'll get a table and it'll be just specific for you. So please let us know if you can come. Everyone here has received an invitation.
Is it the South Hills Country?
Yes, it's South Hills Country Club. Dinner is served. We'll have auction items, and we will also present to a candidate that has done a lot of contributions in the community in San Gabriel Valley, awarded a
Nehemiah Award.
Nehemiah Award. Doric, go ahead and tell them about it.
And this is for somebody that has helped in the community, and like in the time of Nehemiah, was sent to rebuild the city. And so we always choose somebody in the community that's helping to rebuild and help in the community. And also we give an award to one of our volunteers for the year. It's the Beacon Award. And then we also have the silent auction. We have a lot of good items this year. At first we were kind of hesitating. People would say, okay, we'll call you. Now we're down to the wire, and it's all coming in. It's really, really nice. It should be a fun time. We have a lot of people from the community, a lot of the Rotary, the Chamber, so on, plus a lot of our friends that help support. I was just sharing with Kelly McDonald, which is our contact person here in City West Covina. I thought we were serving, registered everybody in East San Gabriel Valley because of the way the numbers were coming in. And the numbers do not seem to go down. We're still running 230 to 250 families per week.
that we
And
serve.
that we help in at the food bank. This family. Now, when you count how many in the family, it can vary from 1 to 10. So you can imagine.
Oh, can others say if you could talk into the mic? So
Thank you.
Okay, so you can imagine the numbers we're talking.
You could bend it down.
I got to grow a few inches. I'm vertically challenged. So, and I want to thank West Covina because they've always been a big supporter. We have quite a few people that come from the city of West Covina that take advantage of the food that we have. And it's not boxed or dry goods that we have. We're talking fresh meat. Sometimes we get as much as 450 pounds of frozen meat from Smart and Final. So, and this is just one store. We pick up from 13 stores. We just picked up South Hills High School from the what they have left over from their lunch. And that we give not only to the homeless because they can't cook or refrigerate, so that's ready to eat, but also the parents are happy to get that part of the boxes that they get, so that way the kids can also partake of that. Again, thank you, each and every one of you, for your support and your help. Thank you very much.
And also, the day of distribution is Friday.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. So if there's someone who needs to know, they are to get involved or want to participate. We do take any volunteer who is
18 years or over.
18 years, yeah. So our program is run strictly with volunteers. We don't pay anyone, not even Dora.
Yeah. I did payroll for 20-some years,
So anyway, thank you again, and we hope to see you. Please respond as soon as possible to the invitation. Thank you.
Thank
you.
Rosa Rios, followed by Angie Gillingham, followed by Herman.
Good evening. I'm a little bit shorter, so I need to get this mic closer to me. I am Rosa Rios. I am the mother of Gabriela Tejaro. First and foremost, I would like to address Mr. Tony Wu for stopping by my son-in-law's house about maybe 2 weeks ago. You stopped by and you heard our story, a senseless shooting that happened on January 2nd, 2021. Thank you I heard the announcement that you guys had, I think, a week ago. And while I do like the idea of calling it Gabby's Corner, actually, it's a very hard corner to pass by because it brings very dark memories. And as a mother, Ms. Diaz, Viado, both of you guys have one of each, like I did too. Gabriela was my only daughter. She was 29 years old. She was going to school to become a nurse. She was a good citizen, what every mother wants to have. She was an organ donor at the age of 16. She made that decision by herself. And so made our decision much easier the day of her passing. Ms. Diaz, you had also suggested that maybe matching the $50,000. Thank you for that. That would be nice if it does pass, if it is agreed by the council. But what's done's done. I cannot go back and change it. I wish I could. But what are we doing as a city for your city here, for the community? What can we do to honor those victims of crime, the senseless that happens? Not shortly, Gabriela was murdered on January 2nd, 2021, at the corner of Azusa and Amar. Within 6 months, I believe, there were 2 additional shootings that resulted in murders as well. One of them was a gunshot as well, and then another gentleman, 53 years old, who was, was beaten to death at the same corner. So how can we honor your residents of West Covina? So you know how the high schools, they have their photos of graduates moving on to high school, and so is moving to CSUN, so is going to Santa Barbara. You have banners honoring our servicemen who are serving the Army, who are serving in the Navy, and you have their photos. That's great. What are we doing to honor your residents, innocent victims that were killed for no reason at all than just going back home from getting dinner? I was thinking, why can we adopt the same thing? Is there, I don't know if there's a National Victims of Crime Month where we can honor, and you could have a criteria, because obviously I would not advocate and I would not support for anyone that chose to live a reckless life or chose to be in crime. Obviously, they don't deserve that kind of honor. But when you have good citizens, innocent children, or young adults who are just starting their life and they're taken away overnight, what can we do to honor them? And this, I would advocate for that. You cannot imagine how your world is turned upside down. We were like the perfect family. My son, he works at Gilead Pharmacy, college graduate. I work full time. I'm a occupational OSHA compliance safety manager. Our dad has always worked for FedEx. We have no association with any kind of crime whatsoever. I have a grandson. You have a granddaughter. She was just starting, and our lives was turned upside down overnight. Evil does not discriminate. It could happen to any of us at any time, and I don't wish it upon anyone. The only time I get rest, the only time I don't feel her loss, is when I'm asleep. The minute I wake up, it's the anxiety that takes over me, and I cannot control it. What's been getting me through this is the love for her, the love for my son, and the love for my grandson, and my faith. God's been getting me through this a lot. My time is up. So please take that into consideration. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Angie Gillingham, followed by Herman, followed by Mike Greenspan.
Hello.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Hi. I come here tonight to share a few subjects that I believe the voting public should be aware of in election year. I would like to review subjects that came before the Council 3 and now 4. I will begin with the raises given to public employees, police and fire in 2019. The local paper worded this action as cash-strapped city approves 12% raises. Wu, Castellano, and Lopez, 3 councils who supported these raises. Soon after, they supported a tax initiative to the residents to pay for these raises. Quickly, a group formed of West Covina residents with 4 former mayors who opposed such raises and won overwhelmingly 8-1 by the voters of West Covina who opposed such a raise. Next was the development of BKK known as the Simpoli Hotel Development, which originally had a grand hotel, amphitheater, racetrack, dog park, etc., etc. Adamantly opposed by the informed nonprofit group known as Livable West Covina, who delved into the long, horrible history of toxic waste at that site. Also opposed by West Covina voters. That has since gone nowhere due to the bankrupt Simpoli company. Next, the council did not make any headway with meaningful pension reform, so the decision was to risk financing bonds to pay for CalPERS debt. A group known as the Howard Jarvis Group views these types of action poorly, as using your MasterCard to pay your Visa. So the council proceeded, paid some debt, and kept some cash for those bonds. And we, the voting public, now have bonds not to be paid off to 2049. Now, most recently is the Springfest. Many residents before me came to this council asking for costs related to the poorly attended event by residents of our cities. Vendors who were approached by this were were approached were mostly from outside our city. Very few of our local nonprofits or restaurants were asked to participate. There were 8 sponsors, one being the CAAWC, Chinese American Association of WC. Why I single this out? Well, it's the relationship to Mr. Wu. The president at the time was Mrs. Wu. In fact, many of the applications to the city submitted to the city by her group read, "Make checks out to CAAWC." I was curious, so I asked a city official if the money collected by that group was turned into the city. Answer, the nonprofit was able to keep most of what they collected for their effort. That nonprofit collected close to $10,000 and turned back a check to the city for $2,800. They were the only group who profited from the event, which includes the city. Next, the health department. As Mr. Wu continues to promote West Covina Health Department, visiting other cities, promoting his progress, the venture has gone nowhere, thankfully. With the public asking for months, now years, we still have no information on costs related to this venture. Highly opposed by the public, but the Council 4 proceeds. This year, we saw districts redesigned by a consultant, not by its residents. The city is going through a new zoning to our general plan, all without a planning director, going on 3 years. Soon, we could have high-rises with no height restrictions at our malls due to the city's failure to include low-income housing at the many developments they've approved. City property is being sold at a car dealership now claims to be a hotel builder. Nothing wrong there. Not a priority. Residents, nonprofits, local businesses, all have been ignored by the Council 4 until now, election year. One of you is asking for their vote. Thank you.
Herman, followed by Mike Greenspan, followed by Elsie Messman.
Great presentation. I hope I could beat that. You know, we all have struggles in life, some for the better or the worse, but so far the worst is coming out about these donors. And the lady keyed in on it very well. I mean, I shouldn't even have to go into this, but I have to because as you read in the LA Times regarding gun permits, the city of Los Angeles has put a restraining order against me called a SLAP, strategic lawsuit against the public, because they just don't like what I perceive to say as what I have going on in my mind. But for those of you who don't understand the investigation found among the thousands of people who have received permits, you should be worried, especially coming from donors. These CCW permits, you know, let's face it, Lee Baca hasn't left the sheriff's station. We still got corruption. We still have issues about gangs in the sheriff. And I know I had an incident where I was unlawfully detained and handcuffed and asked impermissible questions about why do I speak like this in meetings. Well, as you see, these donors to these elections and campaigns and others with partaking with the sheriff and law enforcement, it shows you there's something wrong with our society. So, again, we shouldn't worry, right? But here's a good line from the LA Times. It says, the sheriff have come under suspicion of wrongdoing. Now, how does that wrongdoing come into play? Well, as you heard, dozens of donors got CCW permits. And again, what is the Los Angeles County strategic plan or purpose? It mentions to improve the quality of life, but yet we incarcerate more black children, more black families. And on the other hand, we incarcerate more Latinos and wetbacks like myself. So to enrich the lives through this effective and caring service, I find a very offensive hypocrisy among our so-called society. And it's failed to do its part to protect us as citizens. As you heard, we are getting just robbed, blind, stupid. The lady mentioned in her presentation before I got here that, oh, the city of West Covina and this car agency is going to plan to build a big high-riser. Well, in Santa Monica, some fools want to build a huge tower in a nice residential Santa Monica mountain. And for what purpose? You can't put vets in there. You can't put the homeless people in there. You can't put any of us in there because you can't afford it. So you're asked out. Asked out. So the whole thing here is, some people have mentioned that the language I use is offensive. Well, it has to be offensive. It's the only way as an American citizen I have a right to accuse and criticize anyone I feel has disserviced the United States of America and our constitutional right. And when it comes down to censoring us, it bothers me. And monitoring our speech should stop. And the reason behind that, because, just driving up here, going through the Hong Kong Plaza, many of you may know where it's at, and maybe you don't. But if you head south, down the street from West Covina, you find the Hong Kong Plaza. It's a shithole. You need to clean it. Now, everyone talks about, oh, be careful, you might get germs, blah, blah, blah. We're still under COVID. Well, your dumb president just got through saying, we're out of COVID. Well, wrong, dumb president. We're still in a issue involving dummies on the right and dummies on the left. So let's encourage Florida, let's encourage Texas, send all the illegal immigrants to California because we will house them. Send all the illegal immigrants here to West Covina because we're a sanctuary city. I invite you, send them. Governors, send all your homeless people who are escaping the refugee of disposable livelihood. Bring them to America because it seems that we're a free giveaway money to a bunch of bullshit except for the American citizens who lie on our streets daily and walk our streets.
Mike Greenspan, followed by Elsie Messman, followed by Ralph Beltran.
Sir, for the record. Yes, sir. Hang on.
Mike Greenspan.
Okay. Mike Greenspan, the Jew who won't go back to Florida. And I'll tell every anti-Semitic, anti-Christ Catholic that. Now, a few issues I do want to talk about. First of all, I want to thank the minister for mentioning Jesus. After all, when they get caught cheating in a Christian league, they jerk their dicks and blame the umpire. That's the only thing they can do. And in 96 days, if Jesus shows up at Timuquana Country Club, Tim Tebow, of all people, will bodily throw him from the dining room because he's Jewish. I'm sorry, Mr. Christ. Our Christmas dinner is only for our Christian members. Now, I want to welcome back our city manager from a couple weeks ago. I thought he may have had COVID because COVID's still around, despite what our senile president thinks. But, of course, only 120 million people died as of July 2020 around the world. That was wrong. Yep, those are his figures. I'm not senile like him. Now, we had an ice cream social a while back, and I came over here to pick up a piece of paper from the city clerk's office, and it was put on by the assistant city manager, Paulina Morales, and basically it wasn't what I thought it would be. It wasn't like the days I would read about with Dolly Madison, First Lady to James Madison. They used to hold ice cream socials at the White House when they weren't running away from the British, burning it down. And, I figure if you could have a flop like Springfest, which is a big old money pit, money just going down, down, down this black hole, you could at least have brought in a couple of big-sized freezers
for the ice cream social. One of them could have had salt and straw ice cream, a premium ice cream, and one of them could have had Fosselman's over there in Alhambra, another premium ice cream, and it could have been kept cold. Melts are great at Subway and Burger King and a Philly cheesesteak place and Charlie's, but for ice cream sandwiches, they are not meant to be melty. They should be nice and hard and frozen still. What a flop. Maybe the city manager could get some more competent people to do the ice cream social when they have it. Speaking of which, there were 9 people absent from the Foothill Transit, where our tax money generously goes. 40% from a couple of tax measures we voted in, 20% from another couple of them. I mean, let's say we put Tony Wu and Brian Tabatny and somebody from the city manager's office, the 9 absences would be down to 6. I mean, okay, why would I lean a bit on the city manager? Well, they make in the 6 figures a year, whereas you folks might make in the low 5 figures. And the always absent mayor of El Monte, Mayor Jessica, the broad with the big boobs, who drives the Lexus SUV, they all make $36,000, but the city managers are making in the 6-figure category, so maybe we should expect more from them. We're sure paying them more. I would say the attorneys, but this attorney comes from an Orange County law firm. The one in El Monte comes from a downtown L.A., the famous Olmo, and that attorney happens to be the stepson of Lucille Roybal Allard, and Olivarski's daddy was very famous, so that gets him in the door of a lot of places. Whether he's being incompetent and overcharges, that's incidental. Because what really matters, what's the old saying? It's not what you know, it's who you know. And Olivarsky is very influential. I'm surprised I don't see his firm Olmo around here. But boy, their tentacles go everywhere. But we should be more involved with Foothill Transit. It shouldn't be just a repository like the old Rapid Transit District for former city council member and state legislator Richard Alatorre, who would always stuff his pocket with $100 bills before the meeting. And he got in trouble for income tax evasion, but managed to weasel his way out of prison time. I don't think our former supervisor, Curley, a.k.a. Mark Ridley Thomas, is going to do that. Boy, did we have a bombshell with Dean Flynn. And it led right to his son, the one who got booted from the legislature for sexual harassment. What did I read about? He walked this deputy to her car and gave her a kiss against her will. And she could feel that he had a boner under his pants. Boy, do we need people like that in government.
Elsie Messman, followed by Ralph Beltran, followed by John Shoemaker.
Good evening, everybody here tonight, the council, staff, and people at home. My name is Elsie Messman, and I've been a resident of West Covina for over 50 years. I'm here tonight to ask a few questions, and I hope I can get some answers from our city manager. Number one, in closed session, there were two existing litigations. My question to you is, what happened to Mark Taylor's, our ex-police chief, and Larry Whithorn, our ex-fire chief, in their cases? These are 2 cases that I think you should know because you fired them both. And looking at the voucher list, I found that we have paid TransTech Engineering $2,708,000 plus in July, August, and September for payment for January and June invoices. Why are these paid at this time so late? We were told it was cheaper to farm out engineering department than it was to have staff do the work. Has anybody looked into this to see if staff could do it cheaper? We also paid TransTech $1,385,000 plus for January through June this year. So this year we paid TransTech over $4 million. for what? This needs to be checked into and let residents know what the $4 million is for, and are we the cash cow? I don't recall the engineering department costing this much. Yes, they may do things a lot faster, but do we really know what they're doing? And my third question is, now we want to hire 12 more people to clean up graffiti and in public areas. Why don't we just hire a couple police officers and get the graffiti vandals before they do their artwork with a stiff fine? We paint one day and they are back the next. And by the way, where do we think we're going to get the money for 12 more people? It better not be another tax. Number 4, does anybody know where the maintenance department and fire department are going? We all hear about a hotel. West Covina doesn't have an attraction to warrant a hotel. Let's stop selling city property and make do for what we have. Why did we spend all the money at the Sports Specs Festival when we could have had our many parks for free? Use a Sportsplex for what it was meant to be and not what people simply think they want it to be. Thank you.
Ralph Beltran, followed by John Shoemaker, followed by R. Robinson.
Good evening, council members. I'm a ex-resident of West Covina of 15 years, and I live in Covina. I missed West Covina by half a block. I am a retired county employee after 38 years of county service, Parks and Rec. I was the trails maintenance supervisor, but I think I fall under the category of human resources and risk management. My item is that there's a safety hazard that I noticed last Thursday. Imagine the Eastland Shopping Center. You have the Sprouts, Office Depot, you have the massage place, then you have the baby store, then you have the AT&T, that party store, and things like that. That is part of West Covina. I called code enforcement. I asked them if they could get somebody out there because what they have is a dangerous situation. It puts the city at risk, not just the property owner, but it puts the city at risk. Because I made sure that my phone call was recorded. Because you have a 13-foot overhang from the front door of each business going out, okay? And it's supposed to sit on a saddle, okay? It's a 6x14 beam. And what they've done on 4 of those posts, they put in a temporary support of a 4x4, which is only 13 feet high. A 4x4 holding up a 6x14 beam, and you only have one. And the saddle brackets up on top and the bottom, they're rotting away. I got pictures. I went to Office Depot. I was busy yesterday to get those produced. I was going to give you those pictures because when I called the code enforcement, I mentioned to her, I said, please have your code enforcement or whoever checks buildings on behalf of the city, because that's a liability, not only the developer of the owner of the property, but it falls on your jurisdiction because it's part of West Covina. I do my shopping in West Covina. But when I went out there, it was on Thursday of last week. The gal told me, well, he's not in today, he'll be in tomorrow. I gave her my complete information to meet with the gentleman the following day. Didn't get any phone call notice. I'm retired. I'm the handyman of the community where I live. So anyway, what I'm getting at is that you need to address this as soon as possible, because I mentioned to her, if I don't get any response or action from the city or the code enforcement, the next step for me is to have the fire department go out there and condemn that section of building because it is hazardous to the residents of West Covina. If you have a chance, go out there and take a look at it. It's disgusting. You have it's like a matchstick holding up it's a 6x14 beam, and it's rotted up on top. It's been rotting for years. I mentioned this to the property owners, the store owners, 3 years ago, because you got stucco, you got spotlights, and then you got the roof material on top of it that drains out, okay? So there's some weight, and that's why it's rotting. Even the posts on the bottom, it's been saw cut before, you can tell. And they had these round tubes, metal tubes that were covering it. Well, they removed them because they probably failed. But I'm just letting you know and put you on notice that, you know what, is that, you know, I'll give you 3 or 4 days to get somebody out there or
We will have our building and safety check it out. Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah, but my next step is to get the fire department out.
We heard that part, but your time's up. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
John Shoemaker, followed by R. Robinson.
At the last meeting, there was a person who stood up here and was talking about how people in West Covina are being evicted and so forth. And ever the one to jump on a topic that shouldn't be a topic, Councilmember Wu goes, well, maybe we can get some CBDG money, or maybe we can, we need to ask the county for homeless money and stuff like that. What happened to the $19 million from the CARES Act that was specifically designed to help small business and residents who were harmed by COVID? That $5 million of it is still sitting there. Oh, but we got to go somewhere else to get the money because it takes away from your health department. Because that's amazing how the money starts sliding over there. One of the things that was pointed out by an earlier speaker, and I've harped on this and I'm going to do it again. Who hires a civil engineering firm that builds roads, bridges, sewer systems to do a health department? I think I've asked Councilmember Wu, when you built your house, did you hire a medical doctor to design it? Or did you hire an engineer or an architect? But let's come up with the health department. Let's not hire anybody who's associated with medical. Considering the cost to deal with the state when you're doing all these different things, I can't picture they're doing it for free. Maybe what else he's talking about, that $4 million is being hid. Some of that is hiding the cost of a health department. We don't know. We don't know. And by the way, you still have $4.5 million of that CARES money because it was pointed out that we couldn't use it for deferred maintenance, namely the fire department. So if you're sincere that you want to help the residents and the businesses, there's $4.5 million still sitting there. That's unallocated. Someplace to go find it. Lady who spoke earlier about, doing something, maybe indirectly we could do something there. Maybe instead of giving away $220,000 worth of expenses to a certain council member's wife's charity, we could have used some of that money to help some of these people. You know, there are different places that you can get it. But you choose to make people think you care when you don't. Because in most cases, if you did care, people wouldn't be getting up here saying they need help, because the help would have been there already. You know, it's that simple. You know? I don't think I'll go there for right now. But, it's just ridiculous. You talk about how the sportsplex. Do you realize until COVID and you guys took it over, how hard it was to schedule anything up there? You can schedule things on a Saturday and a Sunday way ahead of time. Because it's not being used, it's empty. You go up there during the week, if it's open, can't really tell because there's nobody there. You know, and I think people have asked in the past about where's the batting cages? And the last thing we heard is, well, there's no balls. Well, that leads to a big joke, but I'll ignore that one for right now. You know, but if you have batting cages, you're going to tell me in the almost 2 years since you guys took it over, you haven't been able to get balls for the batting cages? You know, those are big and little things that are going on in the city. Yeah. It's just utterly amazing. It just really is. Talk to you later.
R. Robinson.
Good evening. I'll bring your attention to an important lawsuit. If West Covina had adopted Santa Monica's more democratic freedom voting methods, then this November there would be 8 candidates on the ballot, and the 3 top vote getters would be elected to the next council. And 40% of the city's voters would not be disenfranchised from voting. I'm talking about the Diaz and the Tabatabai people. Unfortunately, the council seems to content to constantly reenact bad past local policy. You did it again, guys. Plaintiffs challenged the city's at-large voting election system for its city council and argued that it violated both the California Voting Rights Act and the Equal Protection Clause of the California Constitution. The Court of Appeal rejected both arguments. It held there were no violations of CVRA because plaintiffs, quote, failed to prove the city's at-large system diluted the votes of Latinos, unquote. This case is now pending for the past 2 years before the California Supreme Court. I hope Santa Monica is satisfied with the court's decision. Our city should file an amicus brief. The next issue, I'm changing subject, is urgent. It's an official allegation that toxins of various kinds have been found in all of the COVID vaccines, in masks, and in nasal swabs. Please act to educate all, to halt all vaccines, masks, swabs, tests immediately. This information comes from Ramala D's Everyday Concerned Citizen website. News report number 2, thousands of doctors and scientists call by petition for a halt to the toxic COVID injections, vaccine mandates, physician censorship, and urge against vaccinating of children. Ramala's show number 133 describes vaccine deaths are being reported as COVID deaths by our official vaccine cult. And that's right, people aren't dying from the COVID, they're dying from the cure, the COVID cure. They're dying from the cure, not the COVID. Think about that for a while. Self-assembling graphene oxide nanoparticles, which are highly toxic, cause respiratory distress, coughing, hypoxia, blood clots, and which have now been found by electron microscopy and optical microscopy in flu vaccines. Saline, Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, J&J, Sinovac jabs are what have caused the symptoms which typify C-19, say these researchers at La Quinta Columna who broke the story in June. They're playing Russian roulette with children with these vaccines who aren't even at risk from this experimental gene therapy bioweapon. C-19 is widely being seen now by scientific analysts to be a cover operation for the administration of messenger RNA gene-based vaccines containing graphene oxide and DARPA hydrogel lipid nanoparticles with reduced graphene oxide for purposes of changing the human genome, targeting neurons, inserting graphene nano biosensors, creating artificial intelligence, human-machine networks, and making human brain cells conducive to external manipulation with 5G electromagnetic radiation for brain and behavioral control of all surviving humans. The evidence is in that the jabs themselves and the scientific literature in military and policy documents, the articles posted highlight the information pointing to this scenario as being presented by various scientists. By the analysis of many scientists, the flu is nothing but graphene oxide and radiation poisoning.
Sarah Love is the next speaker.
Here's a copy of this stuff.
You guys know that probably. All right. Greetings and salutations, City Council members. Probably don't want to hear what I have to say, but I'm going to say it anyways. My name is Sarah Love, a.k.a. The Pirate, and I've lived in West Covina since 2004. But tonight I'm here to address the very large elephant who's usually in the room, and it's the Village Elliott, who is the husband of Councilwoman Ginger Elliott Rosario Diaz of the 3rd District. I joined some website about the City Council elections, not even noticing the name, and Mr. Elliott went after me with a vengeance. He put out another list of people he hates, and this is the 3rd list he has added me to, and it's concerning that this person could get a concealed carry. You can see why usually there's only a few people brave enough to sit on this side of the room. And this behavior reflects on you. The things he says are atrocious and embarrassing for our city and very damaging to West Covina. So that being said, I joined all the websites for candidates running for council. I want to hear everything they have to say. I need to know who is supporting Gascon and which candidates are charlatans for the California Public Employee Unions. So your husband's behavior is inhibiting what you can do for our city. You have made some good points about California tyranny, but nobody ever thinks about what you say because your husband hogs up all the discussions and you become irrelevant, and that's sad. For the rest of you on the City Council, I'm just curious as to why someone has not pulled him aside and told him to shut up because he's ruining everything. Like maybe some pillow talk tonight would be warranted. Maybe he's not here and that's already been done. I don't know. But I believe in free speech, but I also believe that our council members should be smart. So I'm worried about left-wing radicals who love crime and employee union charlatans that would tax me out of my house if Prop 13 goes. So, California politicians are very powerful and have lots of money. And they're probably salivating at the door of each district. And we'll use this to easily get a spot on the council. Just wondering why you guys don't see it. That's it. Thank you.
No further speaker slips, Mayor.
Thank you. And David, would you please respond to public comment concerns?
You
want to go first?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, Councilman Wu would like to say
I just want to make a correction. Okay, people continue to talk about my wife's the president of, and CAAWC, Chinese American Association in West Covina. My wife is not the president. Okay, thank you.
Well, and since we're going to make some corrections, Angie Gillingham is left, but I don't even know where to begin. I think everything she said was false, but she's not here to be corrected. But especially she mentioned the bonds we issued for the pensions. Doesn't take many brain cells to recall that we did not create that pension debt. And she mentioned something else about districts, which was nonsense. But anyway, she's not here to be corrected. So, Mr. City Manager, would you please respond?
Good evening, Mayor and Council and members of the public. I'll try to just briefly respond to some of the comments that were made, especially those that had questions of us. Kathy Navarro and the team from Project 2911, we appreciate the invitation to the banquet, and I'll see if we can coordinate an RSVP list and to be a part of that. I know we much value your good works, and thank you for it. Rosa Rios talked about a way in which we could try and honor victims of violent crime and of crime. I'm open to a conversation with you about that. I'll call you. I assume you gave your phone number to our city clerk, and I will call you. Perhaps we could have a conversation initially and then maybe a community conversation about some meaningful way to do that. I know you're grieving, and I know as a community we are grieving. Talk to our police officers. They're all really, really beset by this. It's a true tragedy for all of us. Angie Gillingham, I don't think she's here. She exercised her right to free speech and talked about a number of issues. I also wanted to mention the pension bonds just briefly to say that was the main reason that the state auditor focused so much attention rightfully on West Covina and other cities in terms of the unfunded pension liability that has accumulated over the years. With respect to our pension certificate of participation, our pension bond transaction, we didn't increase the debt, we refinanced it. We were carrying that debt at CalPERS, the unfunded liability of some $204 million. But we went and got the city rated through Standard & Poor's to an A+, and then we went in private marketplace and issued municipal bonds at a rate of 3.72%. With the same time tenor. We didn't extend the time term, and in so doing, achieved for the city, for the residents of West Covina, net present value savings of about $52 million. So I think that was a solid transaction. Armando Herman talked about SLAP, a strategic lawsuit against public participation. We're not engaging in that here, and we defend people's First Amendment rights, and we're appreciative when people come and talk to us at these meetings. I thank you for keeping it civil tonight. I appreciate that. Mr. Greenspan, I'm happy to be back. I brought back as a souvenir of a little trip, COVID, and I wouldn't wish that on an enemy. I'm telling you, it really hits hard. I was vaccinated and boosted, and so I didn't get hit nearly as hard as so many. But it's a serious thing, and I'm watched the meeting on the television, but I'm really happy to be here in person. Glad to be back at the office. Elsie asked about a couple of closed session items. We do publish an agenda for those that are up for council consideration and deliberation. Those two cases you mentioned, the Whithorn case and the Taylor case, are active litigation cases. The designated spokesman regarding status of those cases would be the city attorney, but those weren't on the agenda tonight, and I don't imagine they will be on the agenda in the near-term future. I'm not aware of any current need for the council to talk about those things immediately. Elsie asked about TransTech. I'm welcome to provide copies of all the invoices that were mentioned. This is the firm that handles all of the city engineering on a contractual basis. Much of their work there is the securing and delivering of public works projects and the funding for that. And there are some engineering fees associated with, but it's all a matter of public record, as is their work for us with respect to the building and safety. It's a % of the fees they do those services for building and safety. It's a relationship that a number of cities, most of the cities, are following these days rather than with in-house staff, and it seems to be working quite well for those that have need of building permits and inspections, which perhaps is a good way to segue into Ralph Beltran's question. Our assistant city manager gave my card, and I will see to it that I call tomorrow. I'm, as a resident, a customer of the Eastland Shopping Center, and will see to it that we put building inspector eyes on that overhang. The responsibility for ongoing property maintenance of a building, a private building which is constructed, rests with the private property owner. I hope we don't get into a substandard building rehabilitation process or an enforcement process. We always strive for voluntary compliance, but I'll make sure that our building official gets out there and gets back to you with respect to those beams. I don't know that Mr. Shoemaker had questions for us tonight, but I always appreciate people coming to these meetings. As with Mr. Robinson and Sarah Love, just thank you for being here tonight, as always. I think that's all I've got.
Thank you, Steve.
If there are questions, I'd be happy to try.
Okay, and just one more comment. For correction, this council did not back the tax that was mentioned earlier. And also regarding the raises we gave to our public safety, they were warranted, they were necessary, they were overdue, and I have no regrets about that. And our employees are our most valuable asset. We've got a couple more comments. Councilwoman Lopez Viado.
So I was going to say that thank you, Mayor, and thank you, City Manager, for correcting Angie's false statement and narrative that she tries to create. So thank you again for that. Also, in reference to Gabby's mom, thank you for being here. We are sorry again, but I just wanted to mention that last year I was in attendance along with the mayor of La Puente, who knows the situation as well as we share boundaries, and Mr. John Carson, who's our West Covina resident who also lost his daughter murdered. We were at the candlelight vigil at the West Covina courthouse for the National Crime Victims' Rights Week. It was hosted by the Family and Friends of Murdered Victims. It's the FFMV with the San Gabriel Valley chapter. We also had our West Covina Police Victims Advocate there to provide support. There were a variety of families there with photos of all the victims in the San Gabriel Valley who had to endure this tragedy. So if, David, you could reach out to the National Crime Victims' Right, I would love to host that here in memory of Gabby, along with other residents who had to endure this as well, along with the San Gabriel Valley, with our neighboring cities, because we all are joining in with that. So if you can reach out to them, then we can create that. But sorry again, and hopefully we'll get that going. We'll host that.
Absolutely. Thank you for that addition, Councilwoman Lopez Viado, and Councilman Wu. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, I think I agree with the speaker, the gentleman talking about the facade, okay, the beam. And recently, I think not too long ago, Temple City have a facade collapse. Okay, so really have to look into. I want to thank him and to tell us. I think please, okay, tomorrow if you can have our building safety to check the structure integrity. Okay, we don't want any something happen like Temple City. Luckily, nobody get hurt. Okay, but the entire street mall, their facade collapsed into the ground. So hopefully it won't happen to us. So please, check into it.
Yes.
Second thing regarding the LZ, and our resident talk about, the fee. We currently don't have to pay any staff. Currently anything we receive $250,000 we approve. Anything that we got the permit fee, the fee come to the city. Anything $250,000, city automatically get 50% of the fee. Anything more than $250,000, we get 60%. Anything more than $350,000, we get 65%. So basically, city get the majority of the fee that people pay, including the builder, any of the developer that come to the city, that they have to pay the city. And regarding engineer, as I remember, before we only have a 1.5 or maybe only half engineer. Right now we have about 10 engineers and try to get a grant to us, including all the park, development. I think they find all the grant, including the franchise park. We got $1 million. And that is they looking for all the what we can receive. We want to improve all our park, and the money coming from the grant from the state park project. And I think this is what we want to do: get more project to the city, get all the money from the grant from the state, and we want to improve our park or any of our capital improvement. I think maybe we can see showing the resident how much the city receive and what's the portion, so they can understand the city how much we receive and how much we pay out, so they can understand we receive more fee and then what we pay out. And I think this is a good arrangement. I kind of thinking about maybe we should do the in-house, so maybe we can save this $2-3 million we can keep ourselves. But again, we worry about the performance. If you hire people and then can we get the same performance 724 and the customer service that people kind of happy right now. So hopefully, we give them 3 strike. If they have a 3 strike, then we will replace them. If you have a staff, it will be difficult to fire any of your staff. But for the contractor, if they don't do the right thing, we can terminate them with a 15-day notice. So this is put them on the line. Hopefully they can provide a very good service. So this is my pitching for about what we have right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Wu. Any other comments or additions? Seeing none, we could move on to the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I do have a brief report tonight, and I will update the council and the community about some things that have been occurring. I wanted to just first make mention of the Resilient West Covina, which was our State of the City address, the mayor's address, and also recognition for some really great work by our employees in the various departments, the fire department, the police department, and the general city hall employees. It was kind of our Academy Awards. And we've got a really great team, and it was a very positive evening. I appreciate that some members of the public found the time to be there, as well as the city family. It was a really, really nice evening. Wanted to mention that the State of the City Report 2021, the annual report, is available. There's a QR code on this little stand on the table outside, and it's also available online, as is the Resilient West Covina slides. If people are interested and want to find out what were the city's snapshot accomplishments for the previous year, it's available. Next slide. The council recently directed some changes to the Housing Preservation Loan Program. Those new guidelines have been put up. The loan amounts have been increased. There's some 0% interest loans and other things that are available. We have started to get a little traction on that. One of the council members asked about how many inquiries. I think we've had just north of a dozen so far since you adopted those new standards. So hopefully we can begin to get those monies in the hands of the people that need them. I wanted to mention several different things that are happening with the city. We had a number of community conversations about the need to bring back the Discover magazine. That is now available online. If you go to that on the city's website, several of the registration opportunities are available with clickable links. And the entire printed version of that is being delivered to the post office this week and will be in mailboxes in pretty short order. But for those that want an early look, it's available on the city website. Next slide. Wanted to mention a couple of our specific programs that are up and running. We're now open registration for youth basketball for the fall. People want to find positive recreation opportunities for youth. This is certainly one I would encourage people to take a look if it fits into your child's life and busy calendar to sign up. That registration information is available right now. We've announced several times that we're going to have a health and wellness fair October the 9th at the Sportsplex. We've translated the flyer into 3 languages, and those are all available and available in print and available online with information about what health screenings are available for free, what immunizations are available, and what low-cost health screenings are available. We encourage people to take advantage of those things that are being assembled for us by Dr. Basil. He's really doing a good job of energizing a lot of different aspects for the benefit of the community. Our fire prevention open house is coming up on Saturday the 1st, and also the Kiwanis Club is having a Cartober Fest on October the 15th. There's lots of community activities starting to come back to life, and I would encourage people to participate in those things. We've got some business events coming. The Temple Bar Urban Eats restaurant is having an opening on Thursday the 22nd at 4 o'clock. This is a new restaurant in town, and we welcome them. We're glad to see them finally able to open their doors. They've worked hard to make that happen. And we're going to have a 1-year anniversary celebration ribbon cutting for the grocery outlet on Friday, September the 30th, between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. We're canceling the Planning Commission meeting for lack of agenda items on September 27th. I would remind people that are interested in getting their pet licensed, there's an amnesty period. Those that want to economically review their pet licenses, we're waiving the late fees for that. And people are encouraged to get their dogs and cats licensed as soon as possible. I don't know if anyone in this room needs a reminder that we're having a municipal election this year. We have gotten a lot of questions of late about those flowers of democracy, the campaign signs. The Code Enforcement Division is removing from the utility poles and from the public right-of-way those that don't belong there. The Code Enforcement Manager, Mylan, is bringing those into City Hall and will return those to the people who are the owners of them, hopefully to return to use, but in a place that isn't a public space. And finally, today is National Voter Registration Day, so we're encouraging anyone who isn't registered to vote or aren't sure if they're registered to vote to go online and confirm that and to be able to participate in our democracy. I think that's all I've got this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager. We have a question. Councilman Tabatabai.
Thank you, Mayor. I was heartened to see that the health fair flyers are being translated. I know it's been a request of mine for the last couple of years. So is that something we can anticipate with important messages from the city, that we would have translations in our 3 major languages here in West Covina?
But through the chair, I would qualify that as an aspirational goal. That was a little bigger project than I had expected. But it was something we wanted to make happen. I know you had expressed interest in that, and I'm happy to tell you we achieved it for this event. I'm not ready to commit that we're going to be able to do all of them immediately, but I know it's important, so I will try.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, well. Oh, our Assistant City Manager. Go ahead.
Through the chair. I just know you're fine, City Manager Carmody. I just wanted to take this opportunity to announce some exciting news that's actually delivered to our inboxes at 4:27 p.m. tonight. So that is why Mr. Carmody didn't have the opportunity to really announce it, but we wanted to share it with the City Council and the public that we were notified that we were awarded a $90,000 grant through the California Arts Council, which is a state agency. So we will be able, we're partnering with a organization called Mercury Orbit Music, and we will be able to provide innovative music classes and programs through our recreation department. So we are in the process of putting together a press release. We're very excited for this happy news, and we will look forward to sharing more with the council as well as the community as a whole. So thank you for letting me make that interruption and share this news. Thank you.
That's awesome. Let's make some music superstars. Councilman Wu.
I want to thank the city manager, Roseanne, then to work with the musician, the organizers working, tirelessness, and try to bring this grant to the city, because I think music is so important for our children, and especially right now, a lot of school doesn't have a music program. So hopefully this $90,000 grant can help a lot of children after school program, for them to have some kind of music training. And I hope the city can continue to pursue any grant, we can get, to help our youth to have a chance to have an after school program, art, performance, TV production, and et cetera, et cetera. So hopefully that will entice the life of our kids. Thank you so much.
Councilwoman Lopez-Viado.
Thank you so much, Assistant City Manager. Quick question. Do you know when this would be effective or when music classes would start? Programming would begin winter? Or?
I don't believe winter is quite the time yet. We have to wait until we receive that funding. We've already scheduled a meeting for next week to have the discussions around the rollout, as well as to dot our I's and cross our T's. Because we are awarded this grant, we do have a responsibility to make sure that we hold up our end of the bargain and that we meet the requirements of the grant so that we can be responsible partners to not only our residents, but to the state agency as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any others? Okay, moving on to the consent calendar. Would anybody like to pull any of the consent calendar items? Councilman Tabatabai?
Yes, item 9.
Okay, item 9.
I was going to pull the same thing. But
okay, so we got 2 requests for pulling number 9, so we'll pull 9. And do I have a motion to approve items 1 through 8?
I'll move.
I'll second.
First and a second. Roll call, please.
Before roll call, I have an ordinance title to read into the record.
Okay.
Item number 4 from the Finance Department. Ordinance number 2501, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of West Covina, California, amending Article 7, Purchases and Sales of Chapter 2, Administration of the West Covina Municipal Code. I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Diaz and a second by Councilwoman Lopez-Viado to approve consent calendar items 1 through 8. Councilmember Tabatabai?
Aye.
Councilman Wu?
Aye.
Councilwoman Lopez-Viado?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Diaz?
Aye.
Mayor Castellanos?
Aye.
Item passes 5-0.
All right. Number 9, Councilman Tabatabai, do you have specific questions, or how do you want to?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I just wanted just to clarify. So, as far as the Uber charges, it isn't. We don't have like a flat rate schedule, right? It's Uber still charges based on their algorithm, so those charges are going to fluctuate.
That's my understanding. Yes.
Okay, and so we wouldn't. Would we have a way to see if Uber was inflating their cost to the city because it's being subsidized?
In what comparative?
The only way
comparative
would be
to
constant or random monitoring.
Right.
So
right, and comparing it to another provider. I guess.
Or no, I think the method would be trying to hail a ride for one of our seniors utilizing it at this moment, and someone else like myself trying to hail a vehicle at the same time and see if there's a difference. Actually, I think that's a good idea.
Right. That's my concern.
Yeah, some independent controls. Yeah, like kind of like a control.
So just having 2 folks book a ride at the same time, and because the senior's part of the system, you might see a difference.
That's the concern.
Okay.
Without having access to how they charge and how they make decisions on the fluctuation of cost, as opposed to a flat rate, right? And so that would be my major concern that I continue to have with this. Thank you.
And you actually don't have to request the ride. You could see the cost before actually selecting. So yeah, we can and should implement that safety measure. Councilman Wu?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think last time we talked about the user pay $3 and the city pay $17 up to $20, so we can last longer to have this budget to help all the senior, and only 65 years and older can order this thing. Then we want them to register this service. At the same time, I think city manager or city staff need to negotiate with Uber or Lyft to make sure, okay, what is because my understanding, when you book there, we tell you how much.
Yes, before you.
Yeah, so meaning, okay, the Uber headquarters or the system will tell you how much it will cost you. So it's not the person driving the car will tell you, they check up the price. So everything is automatic and then have a record. So meaning what? Okay, you need to really negotiate and make sure they understand, okay, we want to test drive this. If it's good, we want to continue to have this. I think a lot of senior residents currently have an issue to drive and they live alone. They need this service. Okay, absolutely need the service. Okay, I talked to quite a few and they want it. Okay, and they're very happy. So hopefully we can have this system right away put out for them so we can have this test drive to see how it come out. Hopefully, okay, a lot of senior, we can help them. A lot of them, their kids living, okay, far away, so it's very difficult for them to ask for their neighbor, somebody to drive them. So hopefully this Uber can help them, okay, to go through, okay, their movable around the city. So most of them, I think they're in the local neighborhood. Go to see the doctor or go to the grocery store to pick up some of the food. So hopefully we can try $3. If it's too expensive, maybe we can even lower $3 to $1.
Keep experimenting.
We try to fine tune it to make sure the senior can be helped. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
Yes, we did. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Kelly.
Respond and just say that we did build those criteria into the revision, the $3 ride, the maximum $20, and 65 and over. Open that up to everybody.
Go ahead.
How we reach all those people need help? Okay, because a lot of them they don't use Facebook, they don't use internet. Can you on the phone call reach them? How can we reach all these senior resident, they not savvy with the computer? Can we have a way to help them?
To sign up or to book a ride?
To sign up, to help them how to.
Yes,
they need help.
Yes, we're going to.
Yeah, how to help them to register the app. Okay, because again, then how we help them to they order through the city or how they have to do the app. A lot of them don't have a smartphone, so that is something we have to find a system. We have a good intention, but the technology sometimes stop people. So
right?
Can you find a way to make sure those people can be? Can you
do marketing and some training as well? And I think we'd plan to establish some call center type of things. People would call in, and we could book the ride for them.
Call center may be a better way to do it. They like to use the phone, right. So call center and the call center send the Uber. Then we doing the billing. We city pay the difference, $17 or more. So maybe we can find a way. They like to use phone, so they're not savvy for email or anything. So possible on the phone would be a better way to reach them and have them to book the ride they want. Make sense?
Yeah, whatever works.
Yeah, let's try to have more people to utilize. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Kelly?
And Councilwoman Lopez-Viado, any questions you'd like to add?
Yes. So I just wanted to double check. It's 6 months or until the funds run out, right?
That's right.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And then
if it got so popular that the funds ran out, we would probably come back and ask for additional funding.
Okay, I just wanted to, and then if the seniors, when they're registering, they register with the city to get the voucher, and you guys are verifying their age, or how do they set it up?
They need to have an Uber account. So they would sign up with us. We'd verify the age, and they'd need an email address and an Uber account. They would be emailed by Uber. Once they respond to that, there's a business account that is tied to their Uber account. So that's how the system would recognize that. They'd need to have a credit card associated with the account, or a debit card, or a prepaid card, or Uber Cash. They'd need to have some form of payment tied to their account for it to be able to work.
Okay, and is there a day and time for the seniors to have like their phone set up? Like if they've never done Uber before, is there going to be a class or somebody to help set up their phone to create this Uber?
Yeah, we would work through that, work with Uber to do some training.
We just mentioned possible they use the phone, they call in.
Yeah, but still, it's difficult for seniors.
Most of them, they don't use smartphone. I guarantee.
Yeah, and that was my next question. If they don't have a smartphone, because Uber is only for smartphone
call center,
capacity,
call
right?
Center.
Is there other alternatives?
Well, then I think the alternative would be dial a ride. But for anyone who does have access to a smartphone, there are dozens of Uber training videos on YouTube. So if we could guide them there, or as Kelly and Tony mentioned, call center.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, my mom's 78. She uses Uber quite often. I know. It's a little tough.
Your mom is smart.
So it was probably tough at first, but she figured it out, right?
Then we have
Set
to
it up
buy
on her
them
own?
a smartphone.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, in the offices I'm familiar with, medical ones, I've actually been shocked by how many patients use Uber, even a 90-year-old. So I think it can be done.
Right. The folks that I've talked to who expressed an interest in the program originally, they were users of their smartphone. They were on Uber already, or the ones that MV had reached out to. They had caretakers who would be able to help them out. So.
I have a quick question. Okay, I have a grandma. Okay, with a granddaughter. Okay, so they can take a loan, right?
Yes.
Okay, so they can.
They have a caretaker, someone along with them. Yeah, Uber would consider that a shared ride. No different in the rate.
So it will be the same rate.
Yes.
Okay, that'd be great. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments?
One last question.
Okay.
Are the vouchers easy to use and understand, or does it automatically credit on the account, or?
It's automatic to the account. There's no voucher, no exchange of anything. It's just tied to the account, and the subsidy would hit the account.
Okay.
And we would get a bill at the end of the month.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll motion to approve.
Got a motion?
I'll second it.
A second. Roll call, please.
A motion by Councilwoman Lopez Viado, a second by Mayor Pro Tem Diaz for item number 9. Councilmember Tabatabai?
No.
Councilmember Wu?
Aye.
Councilwoman Lopez Viado?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Diaz?
Aye.
Mayor Castellanos?
Aye. Passes 4-1. Takes us to item number 10 under departmental regular matters. Transit service evaluation.
Hi, yes. Good evening. This matter concerns the evaluation of the city's transportation services. This evening, I'd like to provide an update on the project, including the high-level summary of the ridership data that's been collected for the months of April through June, do a quick review of the proposed options, and as a part of that review, provide some improved map images and offer a clarification regarding microtransit, and finally touch on the recent additional outreach efforts. Now, for reference, the city currently operates 3 routes, red, blue, and green. The red and blue lines are looping routes that have a single vehicle operating on them at a time. The green line has 2 vehicles, bidirectional, and the line, as you can see, kind of loops on itself. So we kind of consider that two segments, a north and a southbound. In late March, MV drivers started collecting ridership data by line and by trip. Attachment 4 includes summary data for the quarter running April through June. Charts on the attachment show the average weekday on and offs by stop, as well as average weekday boardings by trip for each of the alignments. The summary table on this slide shows the average monthly and daily ridership by line, as well as the average boardings by trip. This slide shows the busiest stops as well as the busiest trip times. Attachment 4 shows all of the stops in a route, in a particular route, as well as the trip times. Because this is a summary, we just took the highest and in each of these cases, and it tells you what you would kind of expect to see. The ridership is driven by those going to school, shopping, and connections to Foothill. Moving forward to the proposed service options, the most significant difference in these three options is the way that the bus service is delivered. In option 1, there's an alignment of the current shuttle lines. Option 3, there's microtransit throughout the city, and option 2 is a mix of that. All the options have a form of dial-a-ride, and all have a form of the custom services. That's the offsite shuttles and things for special events. And 2 of the 3 options have the weekend downtown shuttle. Now, option 1 replaces the current red and blue loop with the east-west with an east-west crosstown linear alignment. 2 vehicles on this pathway, and wanted to provide a better snapshot than that we had previously. Green line is similarly restructured, and this is the proposed alignment. 2 vehicles on this as well. This is the proposed realignment combined. Now, option 2 is the hybrid that would maintain or would keep the realigned red-blue, this red line here that you see here, and replace the green line with microtransit. And microtransit and subsidized ride-hailing or transit network companies such as Uber and Lyft. I want to make a distinction between the two. Microtransit is kind of sits between the fixed route and these TNCs, Uber and Lyft, in that they don't run a route per se. People book rides, and through dynamic routing, it's tech-enabled ride sharing is really what it is. And you may have seen these blue vans up in the corner around LA County. That's Metro's pilot program called Metro Micro. They have 8 zones throughout LA County. They work a geofence zone, and people can book rides through a dedicated app for $1 per ride. And so Metro contracted a company that provides the software and the vehicles, the drivers or employees of Metro, and so they're vetted and employed by Metro. So that gives folks, I think, a little more level of comfort. While a lot of people are comfortable in the TNCs, Uber and Lyft, some folks have expressed reservations about jumping into a stranger's vehicle. So, and also with the Uber and Lyft, there are age requirements, 18 years and older for someone to ride alone. And I believe the Metro Micro program has a lesser age. I'm sorry, I want to say 13, but I don't know what that is. But that would enable folks to go to high school and so forth. So again, this is how it works. They all work kind of the same. You request a ride by phone app or the web. There's dynamic routing. People are picked up. There's some efficient ride sharing based on the algorithms, and dropped off. It's on demand and curb to curb. So the service area for this proposed option would be south of Cameron Avenue and east of Glendora, south all the way down to the city limits. And option 3 would replace the fixed route shuttles with on-demand microtransit and subsidized TNC. The dial ride, as mentioned, is kept throughout. All the options 2 and 3 have expanded hourly services. It's necessary to keep the service to comply with ADA as well as Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, and just make those public services available equally. The weekender shuttles included in options 1 and 2, and that would be a shuttle that goes between key destinations on Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. And the custom services shuttling between, say, the Sportsplex and for community events and so forth, that's included across all the options, all 3 of the options. So again, the significant difference in the 3 options is in the delivery of the non-specialized mass transit bus service. So staff sought feedback on these options. A short online survey was created to gauge the preferences regarding the 3 options. It was launched at the end of July, marketed at the last couple of summer concerts and the film festival, is posted at city facilities on the shuttle, on the city's website, and social media. Recently, it's been published in the Discover and will be mailed out to everybody. Sounds like this week. And we reached out recently to the Colony at the Lakes and Torrey Pines, the management there, to see if they would distribute the information. I also visited Merrill Gardens and Heritage Park Villas and asked the management if they would distribute information. They agreed, and very excited about the Uber program as well. Attachment 2 includes the survey responses through, I believe it's the 12th. And what I'm showing here is as of today, there have been 45 responses, and of the 34 who answered the initial question, 23 of them preferred the alignment of the shuttle routes. Three preferred the hybrid, and 8 preferred the dedicated or the microtransit version. Another attempt at outreach was a virtual town hall meeting that was conducted on August 18th. It's marketed similarly to the community survey. It's attended by 7 residents and representatives of MV and Uber who sat back and listened. It's about a 2-hour meeting with discussion and presentation. Some of the comments that we received were concerns for safety, and that was, again, regarding the TNCs for children and the elderly, and concerns relative to service and outreach to the high schools. Reluctance, as mentioned, the elderly to use an app-based service, and desire for weekend service, and concern that given the current low ridership, that changing the service delivery might not result in an increase. And also there was a suggestion to operate shuttles during peak times and citywide microtransit during evenings and weekends. You'll recall that we did that the consultant conducted a survey at the end of 21 and early 22, where we had 550 responses, and over a third of those expressed that they'd like to see an on-demand ride-hailing service. So all sorts of preferences. We did finally reach out to the 3 school districts that serve West Covina. We met with the West Covina Unified on August 24th and Covina Valley Unified on the 25th. Both districts were agreeable to distributing a link to a survey of their high school students. However, as of the end of last week, the survey has not gone out, though the intent is to distribute that. And we've not been successful connecting with Roland. We'll keep trying that, because they're one of our biggest users on the Green Line, particularly. Yeah, exactly. So the reps from West Covina expressed that they're concerned about the elimination, the realignment of the blue line, that it misses the northwest portion of the city that's served by the current alignment. This portion up here that they're referring to. Also expressed that shuttle service is preferred to microtransit service due to the impact on traffic, on arrivals and departures at the schools. It can be pretty busy, and expressed an interest in a shuttle to the Baldwin Park Metro Station for faculty and other local employers. Covina Valley Unified expressed interest in the red line alignment. The alignment of the shuttle currently missing the Covina High and South Hills High, and requested that the city consider modifying the current green line alignment to come east from Citrus to Barranca to capture South Hills in that route. So,
Kelly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if without rolling unified, this survey is a major flop. Okay, we really need Nogales High School. A lot of their students use the bus.
I agree.
So maybe you can reach the school board. I have a school board member's phone number. Or maybe you can reach them to talk to the Nogales principal to see survey. We need to see how many kids utilize the buses. So and I think that's important. I don't think South Hill, they're using the bus service at all. I don't know West Covina, but I know Nogales High School they utilize quite a lot. So we need to really get a number. Can you get a number?
Certainly, we'll certainly keep trying. And
you need a connection. I can give you the connection with the school board, or I'll give you the And I think Assistant City Manager has Dr. Mitchell, and Julie Mitchell's phone number. So you can contact her to. This is important. Survey. We need to know how many people before we make a decision. We really want to know, and how many kids utilize. We don't want to stop it and they have no place to use, or do they know how to use the? I don't know what kind of decision tonight, but we need a kind of number that we can understand how many usage.
Yes, I appreciate that, and thank you, and we'll continue reaching out to them because they are a big user of that green line. And I think that was a point that the Covina superintendent was making, that if they don't use it currently because we're not in that area, and if we did expand over to that area, that they would use it and they could promote the service as well. Both they and West Covina were interested in promoting the use of these systems. So we'll definitely continue to reach out to Roland. And this report is really just an update as to where we are. I'm not really asking for a decision this evening. Just wanted to let you know that we're continuing on this, and that our consultant is going to continue to work to develop some modifications to this to attempt to attend to the concerns of the schools, and we'll continue to reach out to the districts and hopefully have more information from the residents through the Discover survey and the distribution of the links through the high schools. So that concludes my report, and I'm happy to answer questions.
Thank you, Kelly. And we've got a question from Councilman Tabatabai.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I was because I was also approached by a Covina Valley school board member who shared the concern that you shared. Is it possible we could have representatives from the 3 school districts? I know you're attempting to get a hold of Roland, but to have them actually come to the council and express to us what their concern and the usage of their students and what would best work for them as well. I think to actually hear from them, and then we could also have that conversation if we could possibly try to,
I think your request is valid and similar to what Councilman Wu was saying. And
yes,
absolutely. I think not only with the help of city staff, but I think we could each do our part to reach out to them and say, hey, get over here, participate.
Really quick, I want to jump in. Okay, I think the school three school district, major three school district, we have Covina Valley Unified, West Covina Unified, and Roland Unified. We need to send them this information. Okay, tell them council is going to make a decision, but we want to base on their feedback.
Yes.
Okay, their survey. So could you send this to them? Okay, let them to review it, and then we can have a discussion. If they don't have this information, they don't want to come over here waste their time. So maybe we can send the information first. Okay, so this is the route we are designing because we don't want to see the empty buses running around, waste the energy, waste the manpower, waste everything. So hopefully we can design a route. Like the kid, most of the time, it's a kid well used. The high school kid, okay, they don't drive, they're not driving yet, so possible they want to use the bus because they're big enough to ride the bus themselves. And elementary is impossible, okay, but I think the high school kid, there will be a lot, and we have a lot of them. So I think most important thing is send this information to all the three school district, okay, and then give us some feedback. Okay, thank you.
We could provide follow-up as well with our connections, everyone we know, but I think this is a key moment for them to come out as winners. You know, school board members providing transportation to their students who need it, and us fulfilling our view of no more empty buses. So let's keep it moving. And I think Councilwoman Lopez Viado, did you have something to add?
Yes, thank you. So, yes, I do see the green line, the heavy usage, and Nogales High School definitely use it. And I do notice that peak time is at 7 a.m. I wanted to find out if that bus becomes super full where it leaves out other kids. And I'm just saying this based on experience. When I was in high school, I took the bus, and if the bus was full, they'd bypass me, and I was forced to walk 45 minutes walk.
Having two maybe where needed?
Yes, because if that's peak time, there's a lot of kids. There's going to be some kids left out, and they're forced to walk. And so I would like to see if, well, one, if it is that packed and there are kids being neglected, the survey for that, and then possibility of having that other bus during that peak time to cater the community.
Yep, definitely. I think we could look into that, and that's, I think that's the goal. I mean, if we, as you just mentioned, if we need two at that time, let's have two at that time, and if we notice ridership is nothing from 9 to 10, we'll grab that 9 to 10 bus and make it at 7 a.m. or whatever's needed. Yeah, something different. Whatever works best.
Yes, it's kind of what the consultant is looking at currently, is going to make that a little dynamic where you're expanding service at those peak times.
Awesome.
So,
Councilman,
thank you.
So we're not making any decision tonight, right? We just this is just update.
This is just an
great, okay? Because I really don't want to make a decision based on all the information is not complete.
We need that input.
We need more input from the school. We need more. I know we only have a few people survey, but we really need to approach the people really using it. Mm-hmm. Okay, and based on their information, then we can make a right decision. We don't want to cut service and people cannot utilize because we didn't reach them. So hopefully we can reach almost everybody, including the senior centers, school. I think they are using the most. So hopefully we can get a much more complete survey. So we can make a decision which route and then how we utilize the route or the micro combined or the hybrid one, or are we using the route and the Uber, for some people to use, so we can kind of
make it all work.
See how it work, because Monrovia is going to the old Uber. So they have some flop, so it's not all the system is perfect, but we want to see which one will be utilized for us. Another question I have is a dial ride. I think dial ride have a major flop. It look like they only can stay in our city limit. But if you live in the border, then you're in trouble, because the cross street that is county, or cross street is Covina, or cross street is Walnut. So how can they utilize? So we need to change in the dial ride into the distance, the radiation, of where they go, rather than the city. And then it's not fair for people who live on the border. Can we change that? Can we change the dial ride? Because some people using a wheelchair, okay, and they need to use a direct ride. And we want to make sure no matter where you live in West Covina City, you should have the right, okay, to take a direct ride to any places that in the neighborhood, in the distance that we approve.
I think Dial-A-Ride has a 3-mile radius outside the city.
They say they only can, I talked to the senior, they get turned down. They say they cannot go outside the West Covina. That's why I'm pretty surprised. So that's why I want to bring back to you.
There's a provision for 3 miles outside for medical reasons. So, but we can certainly change that. That's
we change into
that's your criteria to change.
They can go to the so they have more freedom to move around with a direct ride wheelchair access. Okay, and we not restricted only the city limit, right? The 3 mile, then we get everybody 3 miles. So if you live in the border, you still have a 3 mile. Not because otherwise you have to live inside the center of West Covina. Doesn't make any sense.
I think it's a great idea. It just kind of goes to the bigger point of let's offer what's needed.
Correct.
Not what won't get boarded.
Correct. Okay. So in that way, people live. So for example, people live on the valley, okay, and living on the some area around there. You go out across the street. That's city of industry or county. And you cannot use it. So I want to make a motion to have a direct. Can we make a motion today? Oh no, yes.
You just need direction.
Okay. I want to make a council request. We should change our direct ride to the 3 mile radius.
Through the chair, if I may.
Yes.
I just looked it up on our website. It says clients may travel to and from any location within the city limits for any purpose. And the service area extends 3 miles outside the city limits for medical trips only. But if you want to review those qualifications, we can put that on a future agenda.
Yeah, let's do it.
You got it.
I think we should change it to everything 3 mile radius for people can utilize, not only the medical issue, because
I understand
the medical clinic maybe even more than 3 miles.
We could also have an ongoing request for suggestions and make that known.
Yes, we go along with the improvement.
Yep.
There were
I'll second that, by the way.
In talking to folks about these services in the Uber program, some had expressed an interest in the eminent up in Glendora, the Foothill Presbyterian. A lot of folks use that, and that's outside that range, or potentially the City of Hope.
And you having that kind of data, you could provide it to the council, and I think we would all say, Foothill Presbyterian, they need to go there. Let's do it.
So how soon we can change this? Let's put on our upcoming agenda. You guys okay?
As soon as we can.
ASAP, because a lot of seniors, they need it. Okay, so thank you.
Cool. So your motion is what it was to look at that, but I also want to include in the motion what we talked about regarding the school districts. Make sure we, really full court press on engagement from school board members and the students.
Yeah, provide the documentation what we have currently to the 3 school board superintendent and a school board member.
To expand the survey and really ask their students, hey, now's the time to tell us.
I 100% agree, because our total population need of transportation is our student. So I think we need to find a way to survey the school to make sure the kid can go to school on time with transportation.
Okay. Councilwoman Lopez Viado.
Question. I know a lot of the surveys are done online, and a lot of people really don't want to do this survey online. Can they survey the students or those during peak time? I mean, it's right there. They just verbally get the survey down. It's right there. They're the users. Instead of having them.
You mean our bus drivers themselves?
Well, I probably have another person, because the bus driver has to drive focus, but
so like someone outside.
Someone outside or that goes inside with the bus and goes next to them and kind of explain.
I think that's a great idea.
Because they're already right there, and they can just survey all the students and all the high.
Just to ask, how do you like this route? What would be better? Stuff like that.
At the moment, during high peak, correct. Can they do that?
That's something that we could likely do.
Because at least you'll get the truth, you'll get all the information, and you'll get, at the moment, results.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they won't do it. I know a lot.
No, you
Students
gotta-
won't. They'll do other things. They're not gonna.
You got to
feel
catch
like
them
it's a
when-
waste of the time. It doesn't make a difference. But at least they're there. It's that in person. They'll explain and then just get.
Yeah, catch them when they're in the moment.
And they're already there using it, and that's during peak time.
Councilman Tabatabai.
Just on that, I know that as a high school teacher, we've during our SSR time have done surveys for the city of Almani, and so maybe that's also something maybe the school district can approach their high schools with during their homeroom or whatever to be able to capture all the students with the survey.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I think
Make
so.
them do
so
it.
we gotta,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they know.
The teachers.
They know how to
do it
do
at the
it.
moment.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right, we got a first and a second roll call, please.
If I may, just want to confirm that we understand the motion.
Yes.
I have a motion to change the dial-a-ride to a distance program rather than just within the city limits program, and expand the survey to allow engagement from the school districts to participate within the survey.
And provide all the information to the other school district.
Yes. I have a motion by Councilman Wu and a second by Mayor Castellanos. Councilmember Tabatabai?
Aye.
Councilman Wu?
Aye.
Councilwoman Lopez Viado?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Diaz?
Aye.
Mayor Castellanos?
Aye.
Item passes 5-0.
Passes 5-0. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Now, are there any questions for staff by the council members or reports or requests? Okay, go ahead. Comment.
A comment really quick. Okay, just want to thank the city to put up, okay, and stay of the city. And I want to thank the mayor, okay, did an excellent job.
Thank you.
Okay, and to tell audience, everybody regarding how great our city improvement. Okay, the business, the park, okay, the finance, okay, the police, the public safety, is a very, very good event. I'm really appreciate continuous city, and we want to continue to do this event. Hopefully next year we get even bigger when we are 100 years old. Okay, so again, I want to thank city effort to put this. And okay, I heard about food is good. Okay, I heard about somebody have a 3 plate, but other than I don't know who, but
That means it was good.
Yeah, but anyway, good job, city and city staff. I really appreciate. And I want to thank all the all the people received the recipient about the award for the life saving and hero of the year, teacher of the year. Okay, and too bad the Rolling Unified School didn't show up. Hopefully next year they can show up. Let's find a time, not their board meeting. Okay, hopefully school board meeting. Hopefully next year we can find a time they can attend, because Rolling Unified is 1/3 of our population. So we really need them to join our State of the City with their Teacher of the Year. I think this is very important. So hopefully next year, try to find a schedule not in their meeting time. Other than that, I think it's a great event, and I want to congratulations for all these people received the Employee of the Day, okay, of the Year, and the Teacher of the Year, and the Police Officer of the Year, Firefighter of the Year. Thank you so much for all their hard work. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Any more comments or questions or reports? Seeing none, we are adjourned. Thank you.